outside in soft champagne. Petals fell like whispered time. Your silhouette in silent rhyme. You didn't turn, you didn't know that I was watching from the glow of decks in chalk and faded sound, while you stood quiet, cherry bound. No words exchanged, no moment sparked, but something in me left a mark. Just being near your gentle frame felt close enough without a name. You stood in pink, the sky in bloom, and I just stayed inside the room. But still I felt the spring between, like we had met inside a scene. No need to talk, no need to try. The petals past, the air was shy, and though I stayed in quiet view, I bloomed a little next to you. To the grass, a moment caught that couldn't last, but still my chest was oddly still, as if the world had paused its will. I didn't speak, I didn't chase, but memorized your silent place, and in that spring light drawn so wide, I found a way to stand inside. Some closeness doesn't ask for more, just being near can calm the war. And while you walked beneath the tree, it felt like you had noticed me. You disappeared in blossom rain, but left me whole without the strain. And though you'll never know the view, that moment bloomed in quiet hue. No shared exchange, no passing glance, but still I stood in quiet dance and found that peace, though undefined, to simply watch and feel alive. So serene, and even now I sometimes stay in that one still, that petal day. You walked through spring and I stood still, but something in me caught the thrill. And though we never crossed the line, you colored all that once was mine. So if we never talk at all, I'll still recall the past of all where silence wrapped a fleeting view, and I felt full just near to you. The track was dust, the air was dry. We ran until the sun ran high. My throat had cracked, my words went thin, but still I forced the sound to win. No one asked, no one could tell that every cheer was made in hell. But just before I broke again, you reached and handed quiet men. You didn't smile, you didn't tease, just said it low, like on a breeze. Don't push too hard, a phrase so small, but somehow louder than them all. You gave me candy wrapped in calm, a sweetness soft against the heart. And when I said just thanks to you, my chest near cracked in something new. It wasn't grand, it wasn't loud, but broke me more than cheering crowd. And though I tried to stand up tall, I felt the tears before the fall. Your hand was quick, your words were brief, but stitched the gap beneath belief. No one had noticed what I lost, except the one who held the gloss. I didn't ask, I didn't beg, just caught it mid-step, mid-fatigue, and held that drop like something more than any medal, any score. You never said the things I dreamed, but still your quiet kindness gleamed. And when you looked, it wasn't deep, but somehow made me want to weep. You had to care, not knowing why, and I just nodded, dared not cry. That little sweet, that little sound still rings when no one is around. You saw me when I thought I broke, and offered more than just a joke. So now that moment softly stays between the lines of normal days. as a roar, but soft as riot. And when I felt the edge of fall, your silence held me after all. You saw the crack I didn't show, and gave me space where tears could grow. Not sympathy, not loud applause, just gentle proof you saw the cause. So next time pain begins to swell, I'll think of how you almost fell into my world with one small sound, and help me find my solid ground. Lamps and candy, rows of red, lantern light above my head. I wandered through the tourist haze with plastic bags and paper days. And then I saw you just ahead, between the towels and milky thread. You looked the same, just not for me, a blur inside a memory. Different group, a map apart, but still I knew it in my heart that if I spoke you might just smile. But silence stretched the longest smile. I saw you in the busy place, but couldn't step into your space. Too many eyes, too loud to try, so I just let the moment fly. Another aisle, a second late, I watched you pass and blamed the fate. The truth is I just didn't call, and that's what hurt the most of all. You laughed at something in your hand, a charm, a snack from distant land. And though I stood 3 shelves away, my voice stayed locked, my feet just swayed. I told myself it's not the time, excuses stacked like shrine bells chime. But deep inside I felt it sting, the silence wrapped around my string. You never saw and never knew, but I replayed it straight and true. The chance I let fall out of frame, and left myself to take the blame. I didn't speak, I didn't wave, just watched you leave, too soft, too brave. Simple high, I couldn't push, my heart too loud, the world too hush. You walked away and that was fair, but left my courage in the air. Next time I'll try, or so I say, but still I lost you that display. Some moments don't repeat or wait, they pass between the shelves of fate. And though it hurts, I let it go. The version of me you won't know. Another aisle, another chance, but I stood still, lost in the dance. Now I hold the souvenir, a silent shape like standing near. So if you ever turn and ask where I had gone behind the mask, just know I saw you in the light, but couldn't cross that space that night. You laughed from somewhere near the back, the sound a skip along the track. It wasn't loud, it wasn't clear, but something in me strained to hear. A second passed, the moment soft, your voice began to drift along. But just before it reached my chest, another laugh cut through the rest. My own nose caught the shape, the tone, but someone else had claimed the zone. Their volume brighter, wide and short, while yours dissolved too thin, too pure. I almost heard the way you smiled, but missed it by a single mile. It faded just before it stayed, and left a shadow where it played. You laughed, but not for me to keep, just something soft beneath the deep. And by the time it reached my way, another laugh had led us straight. You leaned back in your chair, still bright, a ripple under yours combined. So now I chase what never stayed, a half-heard chord, a note that frayed. Some drift and quietly decay, and even laughter when it's near can vanish if it's not for here. You laughed behind me light and low, and I just hoped it meant hello. But distance steals what isn't bold and leaves the warmth just slightly cold. So next time joy begins to spark, I'll know I'm somewhere in the dark. You smiled, you laughed, but not to me, and that's the sound I couldn't see. Lamps and candy, rows of red, lantern light above my head. I wandered through the tourist haze with plastic bags and paper days, and then I saw you just ahead. Between the towels and milky thread, you looked the same, just not for me. A blur inside a memory, different group, a map apart, but still I knew it in my heart that if I spoke you might just smile. But silence stretched the longest smile. I saw you in the busy place, but couldn't step into your space. Too many eyes, too loud to try, so I just let the moment fly. Another aisle, a second late, I watched you pass and blamed the fate. But truth is I just didn't call, and that's what hurt the most of all. Something in your hand, a charm snack from distant land. And though I stood 3 shelves away, my voice stayed locked, my feet just swayed. I told myself it's not the time, excuses stack like shrine bells chime. But deep inside I felt it sting, the silence wrapped around my string. You never saw and never knew, but I replayed it straight and true. The chance I let fall out of frame and left myself to take the blame. I didn't speak, I didn't wave, just watched you leave, too soft, too brave. A simple high I couldn't push, my heart too loud, the world too hush. You walked away, and that was fair, but left my courage in the air. Next time I'll try, or so I say, but still I lost you that display. Repeat or wait, they pass between the shelves of fate. And though it hurts, I let it go. The version of me you won't know. Another aisle, another chance, but I stood still, lost in the dance. And now I hold this souvenir, a silent shape like standing near. So if you ever turn and ask where I had gone behind the mask, just know I saw you in the light, but couldn't cross that space that night. Lamps and candy, rows of red, lantern light above my head. I wandered through the tourist haze with plastic bags and paper days. The chance I let fall out of frame and left myself to take the blame. I didn't speak, I didn't wave. Just watch you leave, too soft, too brave. A simple high I couldn't push. My heart too loud, the world too hush. You walked away and that was fair, but left my courage in the air. Next time I'll try, or so I say, but still I lost you that display. Some moments don't repeat or wait. They pass between the shelves of fate. And though it hurts, I let it go. The version of me you won't know. Another eye, another chance. But I stood still, lost in the dance. And now I hold this souvenir, a silence shaped like standing near. So if you ever turn and ask where I had gone behind the mask, just know I saw you in the light, but couldn't cross that space that night. I walked the hall, the crowd was thin, a paperboard, push pins and win. Names aligned in printed rows, a list that every student knows. I saw your name, a bold dark type, my stomach dropped beneath the hype. Not just the name, but words below, a note from someone I don't know. Not mine to write, not mine to cheer, but still it felt too close, too near. The way her praise sat next to you like she belonged, and I just knew. Pinned to the wall, a paper truth where names and words betray the proof that someone else had said your name while I just passed outside the frame. Her words were kind, sincere and bold, but left my own unsaid and cold. And though I smiled, my chest declined, a name beside you, not with mine. I never said I'd be the one to stand and cheer beneath your sun, but part of me had still believed in something quiet, half conceived. She wrote with ease a line of phrase, I read it twice, then looked away. No crime, no wound, no flame or blame, just proof I wasn't in your frame. I wasn't late, I didn't miss, but never asked to be on lists. And now I know who holds your light while I just pass that board each night. Pin letters spoke what I did not, they wrote the care I never got. And though I tried to play it clean, my silence left a missing scene. You didn't know I stopped to see, but that was all it took for me to feel how names when side by side can pull your heart from where it hides. Some truths don't need a voice to sting, they live in paper, name and string. And though you never meant to harm, I stood erased beside your charm. A name was typed, a line was praised, and I just watched a little daze. You smiled, you moved, you didn't see the weight of what was not from me. So next time names are pinned with grace, I'll walk on past, not chase the place. You earned your light, she gave it to, and I stay quiet, just passing through. didn't flinch, you didn't mind my doodle slip between the lines. Just hearts and stars, a joke or two, a little mark I left on you. You saw, you smiled, you let it be, and for a breath it rescued me. Like maybe I had touched your world, a quiet note in chaos swirl. But then you turned the page too soon and drew me out beneath the moon. A sketch from someone, not my hand, still wet with laughs I couldn't stand. My ink was fresh, my hope brand new, but next to hers it barely grew. She'd drawn before she'd drawn with ease, while I had tiptoed just to tease. And though you laughed, it wasn't mine, the kind that makes the heart align. Just one page passed and I could see you'd already let her sketch you free. Jokes and looping arcs I tried to join to draw my name, but found myself outside the frame. It wasn't cruel, you never lied, but still I felt that shift inside. That though you smiled, you didn't wait for me to fill that scribbled slate. You let me draw but not belong, a one-time page, not lifelong song. And in that laugh you tossed away was all I didn't get to say. You turned the page and didn't pause, like I was just a brush that draws. No tethered thread or deeper tone, just borrow space that wasn't home. She's in your notes, your lines, your tone. I'm just the part that stands alone. So next time I reach for your line, I'll ask whose sketch already signed. So I won't reach for pens again or try to look where she had been. You smiled, but that's where I remain, a margin note in second page. Painted reds and cobalt blue, a canvas wide enough for two. They said you'll make a perfect pair, but you were barely even there. You dipped your brush, your focus tight, your laughter tilted left, not right. And though I traced the outline clean, I faded in your coloring. You smiled, but not in my direction. Your lines curved with someone else's tension. We shared the flag, we shared the space, but not the words, not even grace. You laugh with her like brush to hue, while I just blended into blue. The banner waved, the colors sang, but not a sound from where I hang. And every stroke you didn't share told me which half was never there. but silence paints the loudest call. And though I stood right by your side, you sketched a world I couldn't write. Same banner, same assigned role, but I just filled a silent hole. Your colors dance, your voice would spark, just not with me, not in my dark. We finished strong, the paint's away, but I held shades I won't forget. Not every project brings you near, some leave you more alone than clear. Some strokes are made without a glance. Some hearts break slow in second chance. And even shared intimate name, you made me feel outside the frame. We painted one flag, not on mine. You left my corner unassigned. And though our work will hang and wave, the part you gave me didn't stay. You laughed, you joked, you found your blend and drew me out before the end. Same project, same design to hold, but I just faded uncontrolled. Saw her face inside a frame, perfect skin and perfect name. Followed fresh, the timing fast, my heart sank like a loading crash. Icon pink, her smile wide, the kind you never have to hide. And though it's just a screen of light, it turned my day from bloom to bite. I didn't tap, I didn't swipe, just stared until it hurt to type. Her world too clean, too far from mine. I let the silence cross the line. I didn't click, I couldn't dare. She looked like someone you'd compare. Too bright, too bold, too made to see, too far from anything like me. I saw the line beneath her name and knew I'd never play her game. No bio check, no scrolling through. I closed the app and closed me too. Her pose was soft, her hair just right, no trace of trying in the light. And maybe she's just someone new, but in that frame she fractured truth. You never said you wanted this, but something twisted in the twist. The way your feet now pulled away from everything I am today. I hate that I compare it all, but screens reflect what words don't call. And though you never meant to show, I saw enough to just let go. I didn't tap, I couldn't look, I left my name outside your book. She fits a world I've never held, a version I was never spelled. And now I scroll in silence by through pieces that don't feel quite right. You clicked on her and just like that, I lost the nerve to face the fact. Some truths don't need to be confirmed. You feel the heat and know it burned. And when you follow someone new, I learned the space I never grew. I didn't click and now I know that something's cut without a blow. She'll never know I saw her name, but still I carry half the shame. You tapped, you like, you scrolled ahead while I stayed quiet, full of dread. So next time someone shines too bright, I'll try to close before the light. Between the bells before the crowd is desk set quiet, far from loud. A folded note, no name inside, but written soft in perfect light. My eyes caught ink, a sacred style, curved letter shaped to make you smile. And something in me dared to guess, then quickly whispered, don't confess. It was wasn't mine. I knew too well that tone, that care, that subtle spell. I never wrote, I never dared, but still it hurt how much I cared. It wasn't mine, but still it burned. The way the paper softly turned. He read, he smiled, just faint, just thin, but not because of what I'd been. No envelope had held my name, no secret scribble meant my claim. Yet in that note I watched him shine and knew too fast it wasn't mine. Like being near but not aligned, a love observed not underlined. He tucked it quiet in his sleeve, like something soft you want to leave, but not forget, not cast away, just save for maybe one more day. I passed his desk, my steps stayed light, pretending not to watch that sight, but every glance I tried to steal confirmed the ache I didn't feel. The air was still, the sun was thin, but I could hear that note within. It hummed a tune I didn't write, yet echoed me in dim twilight. It wasn't mine, but still I fell into the wish I'll never tell. A wordless plea inside my skin to be the one he's folded in. But someone else had found the lines that danced inside his quiet signs. No pen of mine, no paper spine, just proof again. It wasn't mine. What right have I to try and prove that empty space across the page already wrote me off the stage? He smiled, and though he looked around, it wasn't me his thoughts had found. No eyes exchanged, no subtle nod, just distance dressed in classroom fraud. And though I stood a breath away, I wasn't in his yesterday. No ink, no fold, no closing line. It wasn't lost, just wasn't mine. And tired lights, the platform echoes late night rides. My steps aligned with soft regret. Just one more train, no plans just yet. And there he was, a flash of face between the wires and ticket trays. No words exchanged, just half a breath. A pause too small yet loud as death. I shaped a sound, it met my lips, but silence tightened all the grips. He didn't hear, he didn't flinch. His world was sealed, no single inch. I almost said you did your best, but choked on hope inside my chest. You walked in songs I couldn't name, wrapped in a sound I couldn't tame. And all I had was half a word that never flew, that never stirred. He passed and I was just too late. A whisper drowned by silver haze. Train doors blink, the lights don't wait. My voice dissolves at iron plate. He looked ahead, not left or right. His earbuds glowing soft with light. Some song I'll never get to hear, played louder than my quiet fear. His coat brushed past, my hands went still. No reason left to climb the hill. And though we shared that transit time, I stayed behind his exit line. What hurts is not the lack of sound, but how alone the air had drowned in all the space where I once stood. now filled with him misunderstood. I almost said you work so hard, but found my voice wrapped up in bark. Is melody too loud, too far to carry who I think you are? The gates slid closed, the crowd went on, but I remain not lost, just gone. And in my chest that line still plays, unspoken praise that fades in haze. You didn't know, you couldn't hear, but still I held you near. In words I meant, in breath I saved, that never crossed the noise you braved. I almost said you made it through, but let the silence carry you. Some songs protect, some songs erase, and mine just hung in empty space. He passed me by with perfect pace, no shame, no pause, no backward grace. And though I stayed, the night moved fast, with one word lost that might have last. The photo glowed across the screen, a freeze frame, life too sharp, too clean. Laughter spilled in printed light, but I just checked if I looked right. Hair in place, my smile rehearsed, a second caught but never first. And while I stared at where I stood, he moved in ways I never could. He reached with ease, adjusted strands of someone else with careful hands. She smiled, he laughed, the group went still, while I stood framed against my will. He fixed her hair, I fixed my breath, while fading slowly from the rest. I checked my smile, my awkward lean, but no one checked if I was seen. No eyes met mine across the road, no sign to show what I don't show. And though I'm there, it's all the same, a presence pressed without a name. My face just part of symmetry. They circled in to point and joke. My image ghosted through the smoke, a blur, a tilt, too stiff, too wide. I faded while they turned with pride. He smiled at how her bangs had flipped, while I watched conference eclipse. My voice stayed quiet, lips too soft. No one noticed I drifted off. Not cruel, not cold, not even wrong, just everyone where they belong. And I was there before and small, just background, barely there at all. He saw the strands out of her place, but not the sadness in my face. I fixed my pose and turned away, while voices danced in brighter gray. The flash went off, the group stayed framed, but I stood slightly out of aim. No smiles cute or you look great, just silence sealing every trait. I'm printed there, I have a place, but no one ever caught my face. The photo keeps what eyes let slip, a girl erased by fingertip. He touched her hair, not out of chance, but from the pull of second glance. And I just watched a silent flash that etched me in with no panache. No spotlight missed, no moment broke, just me beneath the surface smoke. The picture's clear, the moment fine, but no one looked to find me mine. Just a page, just casual lines. His notebook full of half-formed signs. But in the corner, soft and slight, a word that blinked in graphite light. One single liking tilted script. Too neat, too real, too tightly gripped. My heart leapt once, it felt insane, until I saw the other name. The S was his, I knew that loop, the way he writes in quiet swoop. But what came next erased the air, a name I never meant to wear. He wrote I like but not to me. The word was sweet but not set free. It curled beside a different sound and buried me without a mound. I stared then blinked and looked again, but hope had blurred to quiet pain. The ink was soft, the line was tame, but I was not beside that name. Pencil marks like a whispered phrase. My name absent just too late. I closed his book, pretended still that paper doesn't bend the will. But in my chest a note was torn for something small I barely warned. That word was light but burned too clear and lit the truth I didn't fear. Not hate, not loss, just not for me. A truth that doesn't need to be. He never knew I saw that line, the curve, the dot that wasn't mine. But now it echoes quiet flame that he once wrote a different name. He wrote I like and smiled inside while I stayed just outside the tide. No confrontation, no reveal, just silence that I had to feel. The loops of letters curled with grace, but none of them had worn my face. And though the page was light and plain, I disappeared beside her name. Maybe I was meant to guess, to see, to flinch and feel it less. But letters don't forget their aim, and I'm still missing from that name. He wrote I like, the words stayed soft, but everything beneath went off. I smiled like I was far away, like I was fine and didn't sway. But still the curve, the loop, the flame burned loud in silence, carved in shame. And somewhere deep I can't explain why I still wanted my name. Bus lights hum and fading gold, the evening paints in colors cold. He sat down next to me, no word, no spark, no glance, no sound occurred. His sleeve brushed mine, a fleeting line that looped a thrill I can't define. But in his ears a distant sea of songs that didn't carry me. I held my breath too loud to stay. His gaze was fixed a town away. No weight behind the way we sat, just space pretending none of that. He didn't see, he didn't know that I was swaying soft and low. The shoulder touched the empty glass where meaning fails but feelings pass. He looked outside now once at me and I became transparency. The bus rolled on, our shadows set, but I'm the one who won't forget. space was tight, but he lived somewhere out of sight. He might have smiled, I wouldn't know. The glass just held the afterglow. A blink, a sigh, a line of trees, but none of it was made for me. The sunset poured in pixel dust, while I confused a glance for trust. Once all away from being near, but I still sat and disappeared. No volume high, no silence deep, could reach the place where he would keep. He didn't hear my nervous breath, just drum beats soft like whispered death. My shoulder touched my heart went loud, but I remained outside his cloud. He never meant to make me small, but I was never there at all. And as the bus turned down the lane, I watched my hopes dissolve again. Maybe some things aren't ignored, just never noticed, unexplored. He lived a song I couldn't cue, and I just blurred in window hue. I sat beside, I breathed the same, but never entered in his frame. He saw the world, I saw his side, and wished that I could just collide. No hate, no wall, no missing piece, just quiet tension never ceased. And though my heart had tried to land, it missed the beat he didn't plan. Dust in air, the end of bell. White chalk ghosts I knew too well. I moved my hand across the slate in silence shaped like second rate. The class had cleared, the light went low. The air still held a fading glow. And then his voice broke through the rest. Need help but not addressed. He asked but not to where I stood. Though I was there, though I still could. My sleeve was gray, my hand stroked, but I dissolved before he spoke. I was erasing to same line, but he chose her, not this outline. No spite, no smirk, just casual sound, but still it tore the space around. I didn't stop, I didn't freeze, just let my grip grow ill at ease. She laughed, he smiled, their frame was true, but I was erasing too. Chalk fades like unheard reply, my presence lost in lullaby. The board was dark, the sponge ran dry, and still he didn't catch my eye. He grabbed a rag, stood close to her, while I erased the quieter blur. The edge of class, the fading scene, where kindness skips the in-between. His offer light, a passing breeze that brushed past me with practiced ease. He didn't mean to make me small, but silence echoed through the wall. And in that choice of who to see, he wrote me out so easily. I was erasing too, but soft like words removed from pages. Soft, no spotlight here, no weight, no claim, just chalk that vanished with my name. She got his glance, his hand, his help, while I became that quiet self. The classroom hummed the empty cue. I was erasing too. wasn't hiding, wasn't far, just not the one he counted star. I was erasing too so near, yet all I did fell out of sphere. Get out the scene he wanted seen, while I wiped out what might have been. The board was clean, the dust was gone, but I stayed there, left to move on. He walked away, the frame was new, but I was there, but I was erasing too. The hallway lights were soft and slow, our steps in sync like half a show. His shoulder just beside my own, not close, not far, just slightly known. The bell had rung, the stairs ahead, we moved like pages gently read. And I thought maybe just today we'd reach the next class side by way. But then he stopped and turned around, like gravity had changed its sound. He smiled and let that moment bend to wait for someone else, not friend. He paused but not for me, not now. She caught up light, I don't know how. And I mid-step just kept my pace, a shadow sliding out of place. No words, no pull, no wait for me, just hallway tiles and vacancy. I walked ahead like nothing cracked, but something never quite came back. Wait up, but not for me, my steps just learned invisibly. They laughed behind, their voices blend, a pitch too soft for me to mend. The space we shared now folded tight, rewritten in fluorescent light. I held my books, I held my breath, I held back what I shouldn't let, because the hardest part of all is knowing when not to fall. No one pushed, no one told lies, just one soft turn that cut the ties. And in that pivot, sweet and plain, he left without leaving my name. He waited not for who I was, the rhythm broke without a cause. She filled the space I almost claimed, while I moved on, unnamed, unblamed. And though I passed the classroom door, I wasn't sure what we walked for. Not every step deserves a sound, some keep on just to not turn around. Just where like paths unwound, big crushed echoes never found. Maybe walking's all I do when standing still means facing truth. That side by side was never meant, just borrowed time already spent. He looked behind and I looked through, the space he gave the quiet cue. And though my steps stayed straight, polite, my silence cracked in sideways light. No anger, tears, or reason why, just hallway lines that pass you by. He walked with her, I walked with air, and learned what it means not to share. The kettle hissed, the silence stayed, spring wrapped the room in muted shade. His hand reached out, same cup, same shelf, and I forgot to guard myself. Just two of us in pastel air, the kind of calm you wouldn't dare. I whispered soft, it's cold today, but steam took all I meant to say. He blinked and tilted, puzzled face, like static blurred the words I placed. A sorry, what was that you said? My breath fell flat, my thoughts unread. I spoke but spring erased my voice as if I'd never had a choice. He heard the kettle, not my line, just missed between his world and mine. The warmth I tried to gently give evaporated where I live. He smiled faintly, nothing mean, but I dissolved behind the steam. Steam curled like memory unmade. My words misted, my hopes decayed. He stirred his drink, I stirred my pride, and let the silence help me hide. No second try, no louder pitch, just quiet settling in the switch. He left with cup, polite and slow, while I remained in overflow. The window blurred, the sink still steamed, and I replayed what never been. Maybe I was never near, just a shadow pose too clear. My voice too soft to touch the skin of someone never tuned within. I spoke but only air replied. He blinked and then the moment died. No malice there, no sudden shift, just proof I never had the gift to turn a glance into a thread, to make my warmth be seen, be read. He left and I stayed in between, half hope, half haze, half pure unseen. What I said was barely there, but still it meant that I could care. And in that room of faded white, he left and took away the light. My voice got lost in quiet air. He turned away, still unaware. Not cruel, not cold, just unaware, but somehow that was worse to bear. I warmed my hands on words unsaid, while everything I hoped had fled. In that small space I reached upstream, but melted into kettle steam. Puddle stitched the courtyard cracks, the sky exhaled in silvered blacks. He stood alone with folded blue, umbrella dripping morning dew. The world was slow, the moment bare, just raindrops left in warmer air. And then his eyes, they met with mine, like something paused between the lane. No words, no wave, no sudden spark, just silence glowing in the dark. But before the air could settle in, another voice had pulled him thin. He looked and looked away too fast, a moment built that couldn't last. Someone else had said his name, and I just watched him change the frame. The rain had stopped, the clouds had split, but still my chest refused to quit. He smiled but not towards me, just past the hope I used to be. Like sunlight that forgets your skin, he led with mud begin. His hands still wet from folded blue, he laughed at something breaking through. She stepped in light, her voice so near, while I stood stitched in fading fear. He didn't flinch, he didn't turn, just let the universe adjourn. And I became a paper trace inside a scene I couldn't place. Maybe it meant nothing at all, but why did everything then fall? A second stare I'll never keep, still haunts me somewhere underneath. He looked and then he looked away, like raindrops never meant to stay. That silent blink, that shallow nod, was all it took to lose facade. She had the words, he had the grin, and I was left with air too thin. The storm was gone, the sky was clear, but I was wasn't cold, just one small truth the silence told. He saw me once, then let it fade, a glance that never really stayed. The rain had left, the scene was clean, but I still walked between the screen, where I was there but not quite real, just part of what he didn't feel. He looked and then he looked away, and somehow that still echoes gray. I never moved, I didn't speak, but something cracked beneath my cheek. Same street, same twilight bend, my playlist played its usual end. Shoes on gravel, heart on mute, just footsteps in their daily route. And then his face just up ahead, with someone laughing, cheeks in red. Her voice like bubble wrap in spring, unwrapped the silence I was in. He didn't see or didn't care that I was breathing shared air, just passed me by a flash, a beat, a smile too soft for city heat. He walked right past with laughter bright, a plastic bag and neon light. No glance, no pause, no second spin, just her voice wrapping him in. And I became a background blur, a sidewalk ghost, a shift and stir. The punchline hit, but not on me, I was the line that he walked free. Not me. The back sways, the moment snaps, the name dissolves between their laughs. That smile he wore, I've seen it wrong. He saves it for her all along. They matched in pace, in thread and knees, while I trailed off in minor keys. No storm, no fight, no broken vow, just them, just then, just here and now. The sky was soft, but I was cracked, another truth I can't take back. The world kept moving, none of them paused, no guilt, no lie, no stated cause. He didn't owe me anything, yet I still broke like hidden string. He walked right past with casual grace, like I was air in empty space. She had the jokes, the bag, the win, while I was locked outside his spin. He held her sound, not holding me, a choice he made unconsciously, but still it tore like falling rain, a love that missed the evening train. I didn't wave, he didn't stop. The moment passed, a quiet drop, but now it loops inside my head, the way he smiled, the words unsaid. He passed me by and didn't flinch, but time still moved inch by inch. The bag he held was light and yet it carried all I won't forget. I took a breath, let go the frame, no accusations, just no name. And somewhere else they shared the sky, while I just walked and learned to lie. Paper streamers in the air, he moved like he belonged there. Scissors flashing in the light, his sleeves rolled up just right. I stepped in like a whispered line, heart rehearsed the perfect sign. Need a hand, my voice was clear, but no need, we've got it, that's all. He said it nice, he said it light, but still it stripped away my right to stand beside, to be a part of what once flickered in my heart. He didn't mean to lock the gate, but kindness seals a silent fate. Already enough, the words like air disguise the truth. I wasn't He turned away, returned to tape, while I pretended to escape. The lights, the buzz, the cutout signs, all blurred outside my fragile lines. I watched him laugh with someone new. Her hands were stained in paint and glue. They planned a banner, shared a theme, and I slipped out unseen upstream. He didn't know what I had stored in every step toward that board. But even sweet words close a door if they don't ask for you no more. He said it soft, he said it fair, but didn't leave a space to care. His team was full, his world intact, and I was missing from the act. The brush, the rope, the cardboard sky were all complete without my try. No malice there, just something clear, a place that didn't need me near. Crush bits echo what he meant, the role I never did invent. Maybe help was just a code for can I stay inside your road? But he had built a different map where I was only soft hand claps. He smiled, and that should be enough. But words like his can still be tough. He filled the space with team and flair, while I stood still, just breathing air. And though he never shut me out, he closed the scene, removed the doubt. Already enough, like quiet glass, I waved and let the moment pass. The library smelled like turning pages, time tucked tight between the stages. I reached for spines he might have touched, a whisper seen, a breath too much. And there he was already near, his fingers traced the title clear. A book I'd eyed my silent choice, but he spoke first with softened voice. He laughed a little, almost kind, said I'll give it next time mine. But I just nodded, played it small, pretended not to feel the full. He passed the cover, just not to me. A quiet girl stood gracefully. She took it like it meant no more, while I don't miss, but I pause right where silence hissed. A photo white and full of sun outside the world where we are one. His name tagged twice, the colors bright among a group of weekend light. But there his grin, so pure, so wide, a version I had never tried. No tension in his jaw or brow, no filters holding him somehow. Just sunlight pouring through his skin like joy that never needed spin. That smile, it wasn't mine to see. No joke I told that set it free. A laugh too loud, too wild, too true. Reserved for skies I never knew. He beamed in frames I couldn't claim, and somehow that erased my name. A part of him had bloomed elsewhere beyond the rooms we used to share. He's so different. Where was I? Pixels like confession stung while I bit back the song unsung. His eyes were crinkled, arms out wide, like nothing left to mask or hide. Not the calm face I knew in class, but one unbound, untouched by past. Did I ever get that look, or just the quiet, closed-off book? Now all I see is who he is when I'm not part of where he lives. It wasn't cruel, it wasn't fake, but still it made foundations shake. Because that face said loud and plain, I'm happiest beyond this lane. That smile, it split my world in two. The boy I knew and someone new. I tried to frame him into mine, but he was drawn in warmer line. The candid laugh, the way he swayed, were never things we ever made. He lived a life outside my thread, and I just watched the colors spread. Maybe love's not what you hold, but what escapes unframed, untold. And in that photo's careless glow, he gave a truth I'll never know. That smile so raw, so full of ease, like wind that dances through the trees. I'll never earn what she shot clear. That side of him I couldn't steer. So here I sit behind the screen with quiet thoughts that may be mean. He smiled like I don't exist, and somehow that's what leaves spread. Metal bench beneath the gray, trains pass like thoughts that wouldn't stay. I sat by chance or maybe fate. Two backpacks close, two hearts too late. He didn't flinch, just stared ahead. Blue screen flickered, thumbs unread. The space between us, one shared seat, but none of it was meant to meet. I held my breath just for a beat, but silence echoed more complete. He blinked, he scrolled, he didn't see the girl who breathed in symmetry. I was there like passing breeze, soft enough to barely tease. He never turned, he never knew that quiet sat beside his view. No lines exchanged, no shift, no glance, just distance dressed as circumstance. I whispered once, but not out loud. The wind just carried me around. Footsteps fade behind the track, while pixels hold what I still lack. The bench was cold or maybe numb, like every word I never strummed. He typed a laugh, the screen replied, while I dissolved right by his side. One station more, I disappear, like vapor drawn from atmosphere. He never knew he had a chance to catch the weight behind my gland. What hurts the most was not his look, but how the moment never shook. No pause, no skip, no second guess, just timeline feeds in quietness. I sat beside, but not inside, the space where he and I divide. He scrolled through worlds I couldn't see, while I became transparency. No scene, no spark, no whisper cue, just me unnoticed fading through. A girl too near to make him move, a presence he had nothing to prove. Every note like waiting still, while time just scrolls against my will. Maybe I'm just scared of him, something light, forgettable, dim. He'll never know I sat that day and tried to matter in some way. He never looked, but I was there, two shadows shaped by evening air. And though my name was never said, I left it there in thoughts unsaid. A passing breeze, a sidelong ghost, a moment meant for me the most. But on his screen the world spun fast, and I became a breath that passed. Just a shortcut, just a turn, where walls forget and shadows burn. The campus buzz felt soft and wide, as if the school itself could hide. Then laughter broke the faded air, and I stopped mid-step standing there. His voice but brighter, strange and free, like some new song he hid from me. She wore a badge I didn't know, another school, another flow. They stood so close, like timed and planned, like I just missed the cue to stand. He laughed and it rewrote his face, like joy had found its proper place. I stared as if through frosted glass, watching moments I can't pass. The smile he wore I've never met, a version he made me forget. Behind the school, a hidden scene where I'm not part of what he means.
The silhouettes like folded time, my presence pause outside the rhyme.
She tilted up, he leaned in low, their laughter stitched the afterglow. I thought I knew the way he spoke, but now his rhythm felt like smoke. That version of him uncontained was never mine, not even named. I bit my breath and looked away, as if I had no right to stay. How many faces does he wear, and why was mine just barely there? I thought I saw him, thought I knew, but this new light cast someone new. He laughed and it unspooled my frame, a stranger with his voice, his name. I stood outside that silent door where meaning bloomed, but not before. She sparked a face I never lit, and I fell back too late to fit. The world rewinds in muted hue, but never lands on me and you. Maybe I was never meant to see him when he's innocent. Maybe who I thought he'd be was built from what he showed to me. He's The school gate clicked, my steps were light. I checked the time, the sky was right. Our plan was soft, no ink, no vow, but strong enough to matter now. I waited near the vending hum, pretending soda buzzed like drums. Then minutes blinked into a void, a quiet space that hope destroyed. No message came, no steps, no voice, just echoes filling up the choice. And when I looked down one more lane, I saw the truth without my name. He forgot, but she remembered every laugh like matchstick embers. Side by side they shared the light while I walked home with faded right. No sorry wait or backward glance, just shrinking steps and lost romance. He let go of what we planned and reached for her, not my hand. Sidewalk cracks like broken cues. Her voice replaced my avenue. Their shadows stretched across the street, the kind of joy you can't delete. They didn't see me standing there. I was the air that filled despair. I turned before they met my eyes. Let silence wrap me in disguise. My playlist shuffled just in time to drown the ache between each line. Was I the backup in his scene, a choice he made behind the screen? Or did he smile and just forget the only part I can't reset? He forgot, but she was glowing like spring had stirred without knowing. Their laughter danced so light, so free, while every note dissolved in me. No apology was due or said, just all the things he left instead. I walked the route we used to share, now filled with songs I couldn't like sacred ground, but he redrew it, turned around with someone else to fill the frame, and I erased my waiting name. He forgot, and maybe that's the sharpest cut that never cracks. No fight, no storm, no messy scene, just laughter where my hope had been. She smiled like I'd never tried, and he just matched her with his stride. Some promises don't need goodbyes, they just dissolved behind your eyes. Did you hear like static buzz? A whisper wrapped in casual fuzz. Her voice was a light just passing through, but every syllable was cruel. He likes the type that shines and dares, with lighter hair and louder stares. I nodded once, pretended chill, but something deep forgot to still. My lips curved up like it was fine, but shadows cracked along the spine. A miracle, I walked away, afraid of what I'd see today. Don't make me check the lines I wear, don't make me judge my skin, my stare. He likes just blurred